Hello there. I haven't made a video for a long time, but something happened today that really made me want to make another video. And it was that I met a woman who's been living in the Czech Republic for 8 years. And she knew quite a lot of words in Czech, but she had a very common complaint. And this is a complaint I hear over and over and over again. And I want to talk about it, and it's actually repeating things I've said in many previous videos, but perhaps bringing them together. Okay, so her complaint was simply that she'd lived here for a long time, she'd been studying Czech for a long time, had many teachers, put a lot of effort in, but I can't speak. In fact, she knew lots and lots of words and can repeat a few set phrases, thank you very much, and that kind of thing, but she was unable to create new sentences of her own. And this really bothered her, and she wondered why she was having this problem, but that other people, such as me, could speak quite easily, in her opinion. And I've heard so many people have this same complaint that I think it's very worth talking about. And what I've noticed is that they seem to believe that there's almost a situation like this, that you can't speak the language, then some magic happens in the middle, and then you can speak the language as though a switch has been flipped. And what I learned was that, in a way, seeing other people, other non-native speakers speaking the language quite well, causes admiration, but it also causes, in a sense, discouragement. That is, success stories can be discouraging. Oh, I can see that person can speak, I'm not. What's wrong with me? And there's this belief that those that can speak have gone from nothing to speaking without the huge uncomfortable middle ground, and that's not the case. And it's what I'm going to talk about today. In a sense, I think that success stories can cause people to believe things are easier than they are. And I actually often encourage failure stories where people tell the dirty truth about how difficult it is. So, because these become stories that struggling language learners can relate to. And my goal when making videos and when talking to people isn't to impress them. My talents are nothing special. And what's the point of impressing somebody? It's good for my ego, it isn't good for them. Rather, my goal is to empathize, to say, yes, I've been where you've been, and it is difficult, and you do struggle. And I also felt that I couldn't say anything for the longest time. And that these struggles are a perfectly normal part of the process. They are not a sign that you're useless, that you should give up. They're a sign that you're actually in the middle of the process. If you're not struggling, something's wrong. If you are struggling, you're going on exactly the same journey that I and many others have been on before you. And rather than saying, oh, you will be fluent in Czech or some other language in 6 months or something, what I often say is, you will be fluent in however long it takes. And this means if it seems to be taking a very long time, well, you just need to spend more time on it. And this was probably the only talent I have, to be honest, in languages, is not giving up. It just takes as long as it takes. Don't give up after a year or something like that if you're not getting there. You just have to keep going. And the second is one of my mottos, fluent with what you have. That means it isn't like that picture I showed you where you go from can't speak, magic, can speak. You slowly can say more and more over time. So when you see somebody else speaking a language and you think, wow, they're great, there will still be many things that person cannot say. They're just at a more advanced level than you, but compared to somebody else, they're still relatively immature in what they can say. So don't overestimate in your mind the progress that others have. They've gone through the same struggles, they're still on the journey. And so this is what you have, continuous and never-ending improvement. You are never, ever fluent in a language, never know the language completely. And if it's a foreign language, you're always going to be at a lower level than the native speaker. They've had their whole life learning the language. You haven't. And this is normal. It's absolutely part of the process. Struggling means you're on the journey. And there's something called the duck syndrome, which you may have heard of. It's that when you see a duck swimming across the water, you see it gliding and it looks ever so smooth, but its feet are paddling like crazy underneath. It wouldn't get there without that. And that's what language learning is like. When you see somebody else for whom it looks very easy, you're seeing them gliding along the surface. You don't realize that inside their feet are paddling like crazy and have been doing for a long time. So this is it. The way to be encouraged is to, in my opinion, see that other people have struggled in exactly the same way that you're struggling, but they didn't give up. Accept it as part of the process and realize that you are going to be on a journey of continual and never-ending improvement. And you'll never be native level, but day after day, month after month, year after year, you'll get better and better and better. And other people, other beginners may look at you and think, wow, that person's amazing, but you'll know inside that it was a struggle for you too. So I hope my story of discouragement, I guess, is actually encouraging, because it was this realization for me that other people are struggling that helped me stick with it and to never give up. Thank you. Bye-bye.